Hello everybody, this is the Mad Catter. I just wanted to start this video off with a little clip from my first video about the near-death experiences. Turns out that in the first 2.5 minutes of the video, you can see this weird little light anomaly form in the center of the television screen behind my head, and it shoots up and at an angle uh, quite fast, quite quickly. So I actually have a little video prepared here where I kind of cut that little clip out and slowed it down. So let me know what you think in the comments below if you think that's a bug. I mean, it's cold out right now, so I really doubt it's a bug. But, let me know what you think, because it's definitely, I don't think it's dust. There are dust particles, and you can see those floating around, but I, I don't think that dust moves like this. I don't know, it was just really odd. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and here's the video real quick. Who have had at least what they consider a near-death who have had at least what they consider a near-death who have had at least what they consider. Alright. Hello everybody. It's the Mad Catter again, and like I promised in my last episode, this is my third episode, so what I promised in my last episode was that I would do another paranormal experience, this one with the Ouija board. It's not really my bag, I'm not usually cruising around playing with Ouija boards and contacting the devil and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of silly to me. I mean, it's something that was maybe fun as a kid, But before I get to that, though, I wanted to discuss a couple of just random things that I've been thinking about lately. The first one is ridiculous, kind of unfounded fears. A lot of people with PTSD and stuff like that will start to develop other fears that are unrelated to the whatever caused them to have the stress, the post-traumatic stress. So anyway, I guess I got a couple of different ones. I actually had a list which I kept a while back. I've misplaced it since then. But I do have two that I've been thinking about a little bit recently. One is I'm a bit of a hoarder, and the place where I live, when it gets windy, you can hear the walls and the structure and the floors and everything's creaking, and there's trees brushing up on the sides of the place, and it sounds like it feels like the floor might fall out from under me. So I have this fear every time I walk around my place that the floor is going to fall out in some random area. So, I mean, that's not a really big fear of mine. It's just a random small fear. Just kind of thought it was funny. But, so remember that. If, if anything happens to me and I fall through the floor, remember I said that. But another one, I hear that a lot of people have this fear, is that I'm afraid that I will drink something on accident that I didn't mean to drink, something toxic or lethal, like bleach. A lot of people have said that they have a fear of drinking bleach or accidentally drinking bleach. I used to do a lot of painting and working in different mediums, and I would keep my little cup with my water in it for my paintbrushes. Sometimes I would have a cup there to drink too, and they would look identical, and sometimes I would just be afraid that, oh no, right when I take a drink, oh no, did I accidentally just drink that yucky paint water? It's never happened to me. I don't even know if I've ever almost, even reached for it, but I think I must have seen it in a movie, maybe, and it just occurred to me that, oh my goodness, I've done absent-minded things before. Is it possible that I could do something like that? So, yeah, those are a couple of my little silly, unfounded fears. I don't know. Maybe you guys can share some of yours with me. Yeah, maybe I can find a new one to add to my list. But no, I'm interested in hearing what other people have. I'm sure that there are some unique ones out there that I just hadn't considered before, and it'd be interesting to see what other people have, what other people have on their minds as far as that goes. Anyway, another thing that I wanted to talk about briefly is I can't find it anywhere, but I swear I read some article years ago, like not years ago, but 2, 3 years ago, a few years ago, about scientists discovering that there's actually a place that we go to in our mind that's considered a workshop. And it was always kind of theorized, like it was always people believed, that there was a part of the mind that you could go to when you're thinking in deep thought, and it was a separate part of the mind, a part of the mind that's separate from the rest of it. It was very unique in that it's like a workshop in that it offers all of these tools. It offers not just the workspace, the 3D environment workspace, but it also offers up the tools that you would need to think through, theoretical physics or something like that. Anything that you're really trying to figure out, there's a part of your mind you visit, and this is the place you go to figure things out. And I remember reading something or hearing something that they had found out that it actually exists, that there is this place in the mind that's like a workshop. And that was like I said, that was a few years ago. And then I guess it was maybe a little over a year now. It's been a little over a year now when I discovered a video game, and a lot of people are probably familiar with this. It's Little Big Planet 3. I didn't catch on until 3, but I'm glad I did. Because this game altered my mind. Let's just say that. Like, excuse me. I could tell that this game had changed the wiring, the inner workings of my mind in a way that helped me better understand mechanics. And I've always been interested in that. I've always been, especially for a female, I guess. For a girl, I've actually do comprehend a lot of mechanics that women, and I know that this is going to sound, oh my goodness, this is so sexist, and oh, there are exceptions, and well, duh, you're looking at one. I'm just saying that most women are not interested in becoming auto mechanics or getting into anything related to mechanical field. That's why they're always that's why they have these organizations trying to push more girls into it, because girls just aren't usually interested in that. So yeah. Anyway, but I digress. So I got into, this game, and it opened up a lot of possibility within this world that this game has. It allows you, for people who don't know about it, it's not just a game that you play. It's under the facade of this game. So you can play the game, and it's a cute game. It's a little like a platform type style game. I mean, it's got a little movement in there, but I think pretty much it would be considered like a platform style game. But you can change that. You can do it into a top-down game and stuff like that, but that, comes later. So on the outside, it's a game that you can play. You can play with your friends, and then you complete all the levels, and you get little prizes and stuff like that, But there's this other part to the game which allows you to create levels using all of the tools that supposedly they used to create the game you just played all the way through, if you played it. That really struck with me. I'd never had the opportunity. I can't say I never did. I remember that we had something on the computer for Doom when I was younger, and it was like building your own levels in Doom. And I got a kick out of that for a little while, but I wasn't a social kid. I didn't have a lot of friends, and it wasn't a lot of fun building levels that no one's ever gonna play. So, and of course that was in the 90s. So, anyway, this was the first time that I really had an opportunity to create levels like this and had access to get online to put the levels out there and get some feedback from other people, strangers, not just friends. Uh, but there are so many people online doing the same thing, and you publish a video game or whatever, and it just kind of gets buried under the masses of other ones that are coming in. So I get it. And it really wasn't even about that. It was about troubleshooting. It turned out that when you're making these levels, there are things called tools that they call logic. And this never occurred to me. I went to high school in the 90s. We didn't have all the high-tech stuff. We didn't have any of the lingo. We I came straight into this knowing nothing. Had to look up all these different tutorials and people's personal videos that they made, and a lot of people did some great work making instructional videos and showing off their own work. And I discovered you could not only make levels, like games, with this simple, what would on the outside appear to be just a simple game. Not only could you make levels with it and games with it, you could also make music in it, and you could make like little movies, like short movies. Given they weren't professional or anything by any standard, and really your primary fan base would be other players, other creators, I should say. But within this, like I said, is this tool, these tools they call logic. And it was a new thing to me, but it opened up a lot of, felt like it opened up a lot of doorways in my mind, in the sense that I would say, well, I want to make something rotate in this way, and I had to actually go in and figure out how to, and it's almost like wiring. And for someone who has no idea how to do that, how to do any kind of wiring, programming, video game making, I had no idea how to do that. And it absorbed my mind to the point where when I would go to sleep at night, I would be thinking of how am I going to perform this one thing, make this thing do that thing, or interact with this thing, or trigger, when this person walks by, it'll trigger this event to happen. And it was a lot of really interesting stuff that that was involved in doing this that I was completely unaware of. So when I would go to sleep, I would be thinking about these issues that I was having with this game. And I was having some vivid, wild dreams where I had absolute control, and I was just like some dude in a shop, like tinkering with like everything and anything that I could get my hands on, because it's like my mind already knew the physics of all these things. These were all like tools that were all sitting inside of my little workshop. Inside this workshop part of my mind that I had never fully utilized, understood at all, even knew, was aware that it existed. And there I am just working it like a pro. And I'm talking like I would have these intricate dreams where I would troubleshoot, I would figure out everything that I had spent the entire day before trying to figure out over and over and over again, just couldn't get past this one part. I would go to sleep, I would figure it out in my sleep, I would wake up. First thing I wanted to do was jump on that game, and I just went to it. I was able to overcome these things just based on the dreams I was having. And I had never, like I said, I had never experienced something like that to that extent before. The closest I could remember to that is when I was a teenager. I fell asleep and I had this dream of this beautiful song, and it was so like emotional and it made me want to cry, and I'd never heard it before. I'd never heard this song in my life. It was like I made this song in my mind. And when I woke up, I sat up, I got out of bed, plugged in my guitar, and I found the chords because I didn't read music, I just played. I wrote my own music back then. And I sat down and I figured all the chords out, played it over and over in my head until I figured it all out, and wrote a song that my, at least my friends were entertained by it. I never really, I didn't go out and cut albums or anything. Yeah, I did perform a little bit, and was in a band for a little while, and did all that stuff when I was a teenager. But that's the closest I'd ever come to using my workshop, like actually diving into my own mind and using these things like I was, like Geppetto, or a clockmaker, or a tinkerer, or um, uh, what was his name? Was it Archimedes? I don't know. I'm rambling now. So anyway, uh, it felt really interesting, to say the least, and I have since tried to get back to that point where I'm so obsessed with something, figuring something out, that I can go back to that place again, that I can return consciously to that workshop again to tinker, because it was so much fun. But it's like I have nothing to tinker with right now, and I'm looking for that next thing that I just gotta figure it out, and it's just eating away at me. So yeah, I would really enjoy some more dreams like that. Those were so cool. But anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this Ouija board story that I promised. So years ago, oh geez, it's been 16 years or so, at least, somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 years ago. My best friend, who's currently still my friend, of course my boyfriend is my actual best friend, but yeah, my closest friend, had me over, and we had nothing better to do, so he said, well, I've got this Ouija board. And it was like one of these, it was a glow in the dark Ouija board, just kind of a silly toy. He says, well, let's play with this Ouija board. I said, okay, that sounds fine. Got nothing better to do. We lit some of those Glade candles, and the scented Glade candles. We lit a couple of those around us. And we're sitting on the floor in front of this couch. We're just, sitting on this floor with a couple of candles around us in front of the Ouija board. And we only communicated with two people. First, we tried to contact his mother. I honestly can't remember how that conversation went. But then we tried to contact my grandmother, who passed away when I was around 11 or 12. And I honestly the only thing I recall about that conversation was that she kept saying 24K, 24K, 24K over and over again. That's all I could get out of her. So I just figured, meh, yeah, this is probably not working, whatever. And just as we're dismissing it all, getting ready to clear up, clean up, blow out the candles, all that stuff, his father walks in. Now, this friend of mine is 19 years exactly to the day, 19 years older than me. And his father had Alzheimer's. Very, pretty severe Alzheimer's. In the, I want to say 2 or 3 years that I knew him before that moment, he had never shown any awareness of his surroundings or of himself. He thought that he didn't realize that his son was his son. He thought they were roommates, I guess. He would wear a t-shirt and underwear and watch reruns of MASH over and over again, and smoke cool cigarettes, like chain smoking these cool cigarettes. How he didn't burn that house down is beyond me. But yeah, this his father was in that situation, and I had never seen him otherwise until that moment. He walks in to the room as we're cleaning up, and he looks down at us, and we look up, and he's fully dressed. He has on his t-shirt tucked into a pair of jeans. He has his hair combed and slicked back. He has socks and shoes tied. His eyes looked very clear, like he was there, he was aware of his surroundings. And his son looks up and says, "What's up, Pops?" He says in a very coherent tone, as he's sitting down on the couch beside us, that there are 2 women in his room cleaning. And of course, his son, my friend, was contacting his own mother, which would have been his wife. And my grandmother was always known in the family as being the humanitarian. She was the animal lover, she took care of the kids, you know, she was a real softie. And so it wasn't a surprise to me that she would be cleaning his room or helping clean his room. But just that, just that right there, that was enough to to tell me that there is something else, that yes, they're you know, they were there. They were there, they were visiting him. And I mean, even with Alzheimer's, it's a disease that eats away at the brain. He was able to see something that we couldn't see. And I, I I know that there's something to that. And going back to the whole entanglement, that there is some form of consciousness there that goes beyond the physical realm, let's just say. So yeah, I mean, if you have any comments, I would like to hear them. I plan on making some more videos in the future. I've got lots of weird stories, random stories like that, lots of different random thoughts that go on in my head, and I'm not sure if I'm just the only one thinking it or if there are other people out there having the same thoughts and same questions. So it'd just be nice to hear from somebody, hear somebody else's experiences. And I guess my next one, I'm trying to decide which one I want to cover next. But yeah, I'll be working on that soon. So I'm the Mad Catter, and like and subscribe if you feel generous today, or comment and let me know what's going on. All right, talk to you later.